The phone rang at 2:17 a.m. Ace Frehley answered and heard Eddie Van Halen's trembling voice say, "I need to ask you something." After he heard the question, neither of them would ever be the same. The telephone sat on a small table beside Ace Frehley's bed in his Connecticut house. Black rotary phone. Heavy receiver. The kind that made a specific sound when it rang in the middle of the night. Urgent, intrusive, impossible to ignore. Ace had been asleep for maybe 3 hours. Deep sleep, the kind that comes after a long day of nothing in particular. No tour. No recording session. Just living. Being home. Being away from the machine. The phone rang. He reached for it in the darkness, knocked over a glass of water, found the receiver. "Yeah," he said, his voice rough with sleep. Silence on the other end. Not dead air. Someone was there. Breathing. "Hello?" Ace said again, more awake now. "Ace?" The voice was quiet. Hesitant. "It's Eddie. Eddie Van Halen." Ace sat up slowly, reaching for the lamp on the nightstand. The room filled with dim yellow light. He rubbed his eyes with his free hand. "Eddie. You know what time it is?" "I know. I'm sorry. I just..." Another pause. "I need to ask you something. And I couldn't wait." Ace heard something in Eddie's voice. Not panic. Not fear. Something else. Something that made him fully awake now, feet on the floor, sitting on the edge of his bed. "Okay," Ace said. "Ask. Can I come over? Now?" Ace looked at the clock. 2:17 a.m. Then at the window. Rain hitting the glass? "You're calling from California?" "No," Eddie said. "I'm at a hotel. About 40 minutes from you. I flew in this afternoon. I've been sitting here for hours trying to decide if I should call." Ace was silent for a moment. Processing. Eddie Van Halen was 40 minutes away. Had flown across the country. Was calling at 2 a.m. asking to come over. "Come," Ace said simply. "You sure?" "Yeah. I'll make coffee." Eddie arrived 53 minutes later. Ace heard the car pull into the driveway, saw headlights sweep across his living room wall. He walked to the front door and opened it. Eddie stood on the porch, guitar case in hand, rain soaking his jacket. He looked tired. Older than Ace remembered. This wasn't the cocky kid who'd revolutionized guitar playing. This was a man carrying something heavy. "Come in," Ace said, stepping aside. Eddie walked in, set his guitar case down carefully in the hallway, and turned to face Ace. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. "Coffee's in the kitchen," Ace said finally. Ace didn't defend himself. He never did. They sat at Ace's kitchen table. 2 cups of black coffee between them. The rain continued outside. The house was quiet except for the old refrigerator humming in the corner. Eddie wrapped both hands around his mug but didn't drink. He stared at the dark surface of the coffee like it might have answers. "You know what people say about me," Eddie said finally. Not a question. A statement. Ace waited. "They say I changed everything. They say I'm the greatest. They say I invented a whole new way to play." Eddie looked up, meeting Ace's eyes. "And maybe some of that's true. I don't know. But you want to know what nobody says?" "What?" "Nobody says I'm honest." Ace took a sip of his coffee. Still waiting. "I mean honest with the guitar," Eddie continued. "Not playing what people want to hear. Not playing what gets the reaction. Just honest. Like you?" Ace set his cup down slowly. "I'm not following." Eddie leaned back in his chair, running both hands through his wet hair. "I've been playing stadiums for years now. 80,000 people. They come to see me do the tapping. The dive bombs. The tricks. And I do it. Every night. I give them the show." He paused, looking around Ace's simple kitchen. The old appliances. The plain table. No gold records on the walls. No trophies. But last month, I'm in a hotel room after a show. 3 encores. Standing ovation. The whole thing. And I'm sitting there with my guitar alone, and I realize I can't remember the last time I just played. Not performed. Not showed off. Just played something true. So play, Ace said quietly. I tried. I picked up the guitar and nothing came. Just the same runs. The same tricks. Like my hands forgot how to do anything else. Eddie's voice cracked slightly. And I got scared, Ace. Really scared. Because what if that's all I am now? What if I spent so much time being Eddie Van Halen that I forgot how to be a guy who just loves guitars? The refrigerator hummed. The rain kept falling. Why'd you come here? Ace asked. Because you're the only guy I know who never changed. You were playing honest when Kiss was the biggest band in the world. You're still playing honest now. You don't do it for the crowd. You don't do it for the critics. You just play what's true. Eddie reached down and opened his guitar case. The Frankenstrat. That famous striped guitar that had become his identity. I brought this, Eddie said, lifting it out carefully, because I wanted to ask you something. And I need you to be straight with me. Always am, Ace said. Eddie placed the guitar on the table between them. Under the kitchen light, Ace could see every scratch, every modification, every piece of tape holding components together. This wasn't a showpiece. This was a working instrument. A tool that had been used hard. Teach me, Eddie said. Teach me how to play honest again. Subscribe and leave a comment, because some moments only make sense when we remember them together. Ace looked at Eddie for a long time. At this man who had conquered the world with his guitar, who had millions of fans, who could sell out any venue on earth, sitting in a stranger's kitchen at 3 in the morning asking to be taught something he should already know. I can't teach you that, Ace said finally. Eddie's face fell. I knew it was stupid to. Let me finish, Ace interrupted. I can't teach you because you already know it. You just forgot you know it. He stood up, walked to a closet in the hallway, and came back with his own guitar case. Old. Battered. Held together with duct tape in places. He opened it, and pulled out a Gibson Les Paul. Not a pristine collector's item. A working guitar. Scarred and honest. When's the last time you played with nobody listening? Ace asked. Eddie thought about it. I don't know. Years. When's the last time you played something that wasn't for a record or a show? Eddie stopped. I honestly can't remember. Ace plugged his Les Paul into a small practice amp in the corner. No effects. No processing. Just guitar and amplifier. That's your problem, Ace said. You forgot that music happens whether anybody's listening or not. He played a simple blues progression. Slow. Unadorned. Just notes and feeling. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't revolutionary. It was honest. When he stopped, Eddie was crying. Not sobbing. Just silent tears running down his face. I forgot that existed, Eddie said quietly. I forgot music could be that simple. It's not simple, Ace corrected. Simple and honest aren't the same thing. What I just played, I've been playing variations of that for 30 years. It's not simple. It's refined. It's truthful. Big difference. He unplugged his guitar and handed it to Eddie. Your turn. What do you want me to play? Whatever you're feeling right now. Not what you think I want to hear. Not what would sound good. What you're actually feeling. Eddie took the Les Paul. It felt different from his Frankenstrat. Heavier. Less familiar. He held it for a moment, just feeling the weight. Then he played. Away from the spotlight, Ace made a choice no one expected. What came out wasn't Eddie Van Halen, guitar god. It wasn't tapping or harmonics or any of the techniques that made him famous. It was something slower. Simpler in structure but complex in emotion. A melody that sounded like it had been waiting years to be released. He played for maybe 90 seconds. then stopped. The kitchen was silent except for the rain. "That's it," Ace said. "That's what I'm talking about." "That was nothing," Eddie said, embarrassed. That was honest," Ace finished. "And it was worth more than any stadium solo you've ever played." Eddie set the guitar down gently on the table, like it was something sacred. "How do you do it? How do you stay like this when the whole world wants you to be something else?" Ace poured more coffee for both of them. When he spoke, his voice was matter-of-fact. No drama. No philosophy. Just truth. People always thought I was the showman in Kiss because of the makeup and the smoking guitar. But that was never me. That was the job. When I'm home, when I'm playing for nobody, I'm just a guy who likes guitars. That's who I actually am. The rest is just what I do for work. "But don't you feel pressure to?" "No," Ace interrupted. "Because I decided a long time ago that I'm not responsible for what people think I should be. I'm only responsible for what I actually am. You want to know why I never burn out? Why I can still pick up a guitar and feel something? Because I never confuse the performance with the person." Eddie absorbed this. "So what do? I can't just walk away from being Eddie Van Halen." "I'm not telling you to walk away from anything," Ace said. "I'm telling you to remember that Eddie Van Halen is what you do, not who you are. The guy who just played that melody, that's who you are. Don't lose him." The rain had stopped. Through the kitchen window, the first hint of dawn was visible. Eddie stood up. "I should go. I've taken enough of your time. You drove here at 2 a.m., Ace said. "Sit down. We're not done." Eddie sat back down. Ace disappeared into another room and came back with a small wooden box. He set it on the table and opened it. Inside were guitar picks. Hundreds of them. Some new, some worn down to almost nothing. "Every time I play something honest," Ace said. "I mean really honest, not for anybody else, I take the pick I used and I put it in here. Been doing it for 20 years. He picked up one of the worn picks. "This one's from the night I quit Kiss. Sat in a hotel room and played for 6 hours straight. Didn't record it. Didn't play it for anybody. Just played." He set it down and picked up another. "This one's from the morning my mom died. Couldn't talk. Couldn't cry. Could only play." He pushed the box toward Eddie. "Take one. New one. And start your own box. Every time you play something true, something just for you, put the pick in there. And when you're feeling lost, when you're feeling like you're just a trick machine, open that box. Those picks will remind you who you actually are." Eddie reached into the box and pulled out a fresh pick. Black. Simple. He held it between his thumb and forefinger, studying it like it was a talisman. "Why are you doing this?" Eddie asked. "Helping me. You don't owe me anything. Because somebody did it for me once," Ace said. "Long time ago. Different circumstances. But same basic problem. I forgot why I started playing. And an old session guy I barely knew sat me down and reminded me. Didn't charge me. Didn't want credit. Just helped because that's what real musicians do. We look out for each other." What followed silenced everyone in the room. Eddie packed up his Frankenstrat. But before he closed the case, he pulled out a Sharpie and wrote something on the inside of the case lid. Ace couldn't see what it said. At the door, Eddie turned back. "That melody I played. The one you said was honest?" "Yeah? That's the first thing I ever wrote. When I was 14. Before Van Halen. Before any of it. I played it for my dad once, and he said it was too simple. That I needed to show what I could really do. So I never played it again. For 30 years I never played it. Until tonight," Ace said. Eddie nodded. "Thank you for listening. Come back sometime," Ace said. "We'll just play. No audience. No pressure." Eddie drove away as the sun rose over Connecticut. Ace stood in his doorway, watching the taillights disappear. 3 months later, Eddie sent Ace a small wooden box in the mail. Inside were 7 guitar picks. A note said, "Started the collection. Each one is a moment I remembered who I am. Thank you for giving me permission to be honest." Ace put the note in his own box of picks. Share and subscribe. Some stories deserve to be remembered. Years later, after Eddie passed, his son Wolfgang found the box of picks. On the inside lid of Eddie's guitar case, still visible after decades, were the words Ace had seen him write that morning. "Play honest. The rest is just work." Ace never told anyone about that night. He didn't need to. Eddie carried it with him. Every honest note he played afterward was proof that some lessons can't be taught, only remembered. The pick Eddie took from Ace's box that morning? He used it to record his most personal solo. Then he put it in his collection, where it stayed until the day he died. 2 guitar legends. 1 2 a.m. phone call. One simple truth: the music doesn't care about the show.